Good evening, good evening. Welcome to the Mrs. Best Reviews channel. I am Mrs. Best. We are here to go over our weekly recap of the new TLC show, Forbidden Love. This episode was titled Love is a Battlefield. Whew, I am a little bit late, y'all. This episode did air a few days earlier. I've had a very busy week. I do work full-time in addition to doing YouTube, so I got it done. Hey, better late than never. Anywho, everybody, we're going to jump right on into it. Shout out to the replay gang. Let's jump into it. I'm loving this show thus far. So we're going to start this episode discussing the couples, Linsa and Chris. They are not on this banner, but they are the African-American couple. She is Ethiopian. He's African-American. He is a Pentecostal Christian. They believe in speaking tongues and all of those good things. And she is a Muslim. So she comes to visit Chris, and she says that by the end of this trip, she wants a decision made on religion. As we just explained, they both have separate religions. She is Muslim. She's been in arranged marriages and things of that nature, had a kid, all those things. So it's important to her to be with somebody who's Muslim, but Chris is not. So she wants to make a decision on what religion they're going to choose. But she's been kind of explaining things as if she's not really interested in compromise. Like it's pretty much her way or the highway. So I don't know why she's trying to make it seem like a decision has to be made. She does understand that, you know, he is a preacher's kid. So you can't just expect him to change religions the same way, you know, you wouldn't expect, you know, vice versa with the religions. Anywho, we learned that she makes a lot of comments about her attraction to him, but she doesn't make very many comments about like what she loves about him, which leads me to believe that this may be a surface level like relationship, maybe based on looks more than anything else. But we learned that he is already planning to move to Michigan. She lives in Grand Rapids. He lives in Cincinnati, Ohio. So he is willing to move states, pick up his life in order to be with her. And she already has the attitude of change my religion or we're not going to be together, pretty much, which is strange. Anywho, seems like he's already moving his life. So I feel like she could give him a break or compromise on the religious aspect because he's already proven himself by moving to your city. Like, what else do you want this man to do? Anywho, she is not excited to visit the parents, and that's essentially what they're prepping for. She says that Chris's dad told her that she would be damned to hell if she does not accept Christ as her Lord and Savior, which I don't know. I don't like that. I don't like the way that his dad pressured her. I really don't. I do agree with that. I think there's another way. And you're not supposed to judge people who don't have Christ. And he seems to be doing that. He's ignoring that part of the Bible. But, you know, I don't know. That's a little extreme. You'll be damned to hell if you don't accept him. That does make people feel bullied into it. Here's my thing. Lindsay's already a single parent and has already done the marriage thing. It's not pure anymore. So I'm like, why does it matter so much? She's not walking around in a hijab or the abaya, you know, like Muhammad wants Ashley to do. Like, she's not that type of Muslim. So I'm not understanding why she's so strict with him. Strange. Moving on. They go to have dinner with the parents and they cook all this food. It was a lot of food. And they pray. And the dad says a prayer. And she says at the end of the prayer, thank you, Allah. And the dad's like, you don't accept Jesus. And that's not who you pray to. And all of this. And I'm like, can't you just be glad that she says Allah is God? You know, but then at the same time, I felt like her saying thank you, Allah was petty. Say nothing at all. Or just say amen. Like, I grew up Muslim. Most of my family grew up either Baptist or Pentecostal. So like we would end up at their houses and spending time with them on holidays. They celebrated like Christmas, which we did not. But we still said, amen. We still participated. Just be respectful. Give the respect you would love to receive. That's how I feel. I didn't like the prayer either. And yes, the dad was being extra, but you're in their house. Just participate. God. Anywho, They get to talking, and the dad asks her if Jesus was included in the prayer. She says no. Now, he asked about Jesus Christ and if they believe that he died, he was the son of God and all these things in the Quran. And she doesn't, all she says is no, which I didn't like. This would be your opportunity to explain to him that Jesus is in the Quran. As she explained it in the confessional, Jesus is known as a prophet in the Quran because they don't believe that God is human like everybody else. Therefore, he cannot have a son. So they still view him as somebody who is extremely important and profound and vital. They just don't worship him the same way Catholics focus on Mary, and every religious focus on different aspects of it and views Jesus differently. Okay, but I wish she would have explained it more to the dad instead of just saying no. Like what she gave in a confessional, she should have said to his dad. That's my personal opinion. It seems like she just wants to get mad, but isn't like willing to explain or defend herself to even try to reason with him. Now, the dad then goes and does his fake tongues. And I called it fake tongues because I don't think that this man is being filled with the Holy Ghost that much that he needs to speak in tongues that often. I did feel like it was extra. I do feel like he's putting on, and I don't like Christians like that. Now, what I did not like is how silent Chris was at that table. Like, you should have been like, Dad, let's just eat. Leave her alone. Let's just eat and change the subject. But he did not do that. I felt like he could have spoke up more for her. If you're going to be with a woman who has a different religion from your family, then you need to be willing to speak up. That's just how I feel. But Chris is like, he just seems too quiet and too mellow. So Chris's mom asks Linda how Linda's family feels about her dating a Christian man when the family is traditionally Muslim. And she tells them the truth and admits that her parents do not know that she is dating Chris. And the dad then asks, interesting, so are you going to obey your parents' wishes if they don't want you to be with a Christian man? And she says she does not know. Listen, I appreciated her honesty, but these are the questions that Chris needs to be asking. His parents got on my nerves, but they asked the questions that he should have been asking, in my personal opinion. Thank you for being here, oh so best. I appreciate you. I'm super late. I was asleep, but I'm awake, and now I am here. But yeah, I felt like his parents was asking the questions he should have been asking. You about to move to be with this woman to a whole new state. You need to know that if her parents don't accept her for being with you when you're Christian, like that she could leave you. That she could, she has risen. Oh Lord. But yeah, I don't know. Those two, lot of red flags, with Linda and with Chris's family. Chris's family's extra, but he's really mellow. I think he does care about Linda. She gives red flags galore. I think he's her first little boyfriend that's not through an arranged marriage. She stated this her first relationship, and I don't really have high hopes for it working. That's just how I feel. Anywho, be sure to like the video if you have not already. I greatly appreciate you for it. We're going to get into our next couple, which is Ashley and Mohammed. Y'all, they are the hot mess express. Like, nothing about this couple gives me hope. I have no hope for this couple. I just don't think that they're going to work. I think that Ashley and her family are racist. And I think that Mohammed noticed that too late. I do think that Mohammed comes off as like controlling, but I also feel like he might be doing this to try and escape the relationship or something. Like, I don't know. I just don't feel like he want to be with her. I just don't, especially with how her family is. But let's get into these people. So they arrive to Ashley's sister's birthday party. And Ashley's sister is the one that said that Mohammed is a terrorist because he is Muslim, which is so racist and not okay. I already like the video. Thank you, Also Best. Thank you. That is for other people. Also Best is like the video. Now everybody else, please like the video. But they arrive at this sister who has been and made a racist comment towards Muhammad, and he doesn't like to deal with her. And they arrive in the abaya, which is the traditional Islamic wear that women in Islam wear. And he's in his traditional Muslim wear as well. She's worried that wearing this is going to concern her family because her family already has concerns that he wants to control her, and they, he wants her to obey them. They don't like that word. So, you know, the way that the white people looked at them walking into that restaurant, now I understand why she said conservative town. Conservative should mean that your views are like kind of closer to what religious views are. Like, you could be Muslim or you could be Christian. Both believe that a woman shouldn't just be out showing all of her skin and all of her body. They may have different beliefs, but essentially they all kind of believe the same thing. So, when I think of conservative, I think of that. I think of people who may not be so friendly towards LGBTQ, or I think of people who are, just traditional and old school in value to some extent. I know with today's political climate, people like to go in a different direction, but that's what I think of. Her family, you could tell they're the kind of conservative that is maybe from today's definition, judgmental, slightly racist, and highly prejudiced. That's just what her family gave. And she keeps saying that. And the way they looked at him when he walked into that restaurant, yes, I could see that. Now everybody's eating in awkward silence, and I'm wondering why the sister Jennifer, who's got the beef with Muhammad, her eyebrows look terrible. They are all sorts of uneven, extra bold. I don't know what's going on with her eyebrows, but two things are true: the family judge him and are racist, in my opinion. But Muhammad also came in the traditional wear, not because he wanted to just showcase his culture and respects his culture, but he did that just to get under those people's skin. He was being petty. I think though that those are the things that were happening. Now, Muhammad expresses that he feels like an outsider and he feels as though the family views him as if he is beneath them. And the family then asks him, well, why date a white woman if you have the expectation of, her behaving like your culture? Why not just marry somebody from your culture instead of complaining about her so much? Which I think was a fair question. And the sister made another good point about Muhammad wanting everything to go his way and wanting his culture to be respected, but he is also ignoring her culture. And he kind of, this is where I started to be like, oh, Muhammad, you're just messing up. Like, he kind of made it seem like because she's a white American woman that she doesn't have a culture. Listen, I don't know if it's because I'm a psychology major and I work in the field, but even the most boring of people, yes, even white people have their own little tidbits of culture. Culture keeps the world going. It defines who we are to some extent. So yes, even a white woman from a conservative all white town can have culture. And he did kind of make it seem as if she didn't have culture. And I do agree with the sister. He wants her to like wear the abaya and practice culture that she did not grow up in, but he has not respected her culture in the least, not a little bit, not even at all. Now, Ashley's family says that Ashley changes whenever she's around, Muhammad. And her brother-in-law asks Muhammad if he can accept Ashley, and if he will accept Ashley, should Ashley decide that she's not converting to Islam. And Muhammad says yes. But Ashley will know that he is affected, which he makes the comment about. She'll know I'm affected, which means that he will not accept it if she knows that he's going to affect it. Like, he was trying to manipulate his words, but her family kept catching him and stuff. He does expect this woman to just obey. And he hasn't even gotten to what he said in the confessional about his dad having multiple wives and he feeling like that's okay, even though you can't ignore culture in America because it is illegal to be married to multiple people here. So I'm like, how you gonna have multiple wives? You're gonna be in hiding and moving around like that other family on TLC, the sister wives. Anywho, like the video if you haven't already, guys. He then uses the word disobey. He doesn't feel like his wife should disobey him. And it seems like her family, regardless of my opinions of her family, I do think that they're a smidge racist. I do think that they have those type of issues. But I also think that they care about Ashley. And two things and multiple things can be true at the same time. I do think they care about Ashley. And I think a lot of the arguments they brought up were reasonable. It seems like it's just that sister who made that racist comment, but a lot of their arguments for the rest of the family are incredibly reasonable. Um, why are you saying that your wife is going to disobey you? Why does she have to obey you in the first place? Seems like the family just wants him to respect her, and they are annoyed with the fact that he feels like a wife should obey. When, is the husband going to obey? This needs to go both ways. Why is the wife obeying to somebody who's acting right? Because American culture, so as much as quiet as it's kept, he like to make it seem like Americans don't have a culture of Muhammad. But in American culture, a marriage is a partnership. It's 50-50. Doesn't matter if you're gay, straight, lesbian, whatever the hell you're a part of. It's a partnership. I'm not obeying my husband. Okay. I'm gonna just put it that way. I respect his wishes, and we share similar views so that there's not really many situations where I have to feel like, oh, he's like, nope, I don't wish for my wife to do that. Like, marry somebody who shares similar views as you, and then you won't have to worry about obeying or disobeying them. But, the family just wants her to be respected, and he doesn't seem to be willing to like offer that, you know. Um, Ashley's mom then speaks up and she says that Muhammad promised that he would not control what Ashley wears or does. And we've seen him complain about her coming to pick him up at the airport in a little sundress. He didn't like that because in Islam, only the husband's supposed to see the body. But, in America, if it's hot outside, an American woman ain't about to be walking around in a full abaya with a hijab on. That we not gonna do that. Now, people who come from that culture and that's what they believe, they're gonna do that, but she does not. She doesn't, and that's what makes this show interesting because these couples come from two polar different sides of the universe as it pertains to religion and beliefs, and you really see how that starts to impact, relationships and family and integrating it, which is real, which is very real. But overall, Muhammad did a terrible job. He says to the mom, if Ashley wears stuff that he does not like and refuses to change her clothes, that he would leave her. But then he also swears that he's not controlling. But he is saying to the family, he's like, you guys view this as controlling because you don't understand my culture. But he's then not explaining the culture. He's not explaining his culture. They want to know that she's respected, and he's not able to explain that she is respected. So he needs to learn how to explain the culture better. Because growing up Muslim, knowing friends who are Muslim, and going through it myself, like, yes, the rules for women in Islam they can be a little much. I'm not going to lie. That's part of the reason I'm not in it anymore. But it's not just total lack of respect for women. Part of the reason they cover women up and want their wives to be, covered and all of that is a way to protect the woman, or because they view their wives as precious, so they don't want anyone else to see their valuables. So there is some type of respect to it, but Muhammad obviously came there on some petty stuff, not to actually solve problems. So he did not explain his religion and culture in a way that could even get through to those people. Now, on the same end, I think even if he were to come and speak in a dignified and respectful manner and explain his religion well, I still don't think these people would have liked them because they seem racist as hell. But I do feel like he could have done better, and I do feel like her family's judgmental. The family did try to reason with him, and he just refused to acknowledge her culture or their culture. And when they prove a point to him and are actually respectful and make the effort to solve the problem. And we have to remember they're at Jennifer's birthday party, regardless of what she said. It's her birthday. Who wants to deal with that on their birthday? But when the family starts to reason with him and make sense, he throws a fit. So this is how it's also pride and ego. And he ends up saying, well, whatever, you guys just don't like me. And that's where he brings up the fact that the sister made the comment that he is a terrorist. And the sister denies his comment again and again. But we've already seen the other sister who witnessed it, as well as Ashley. They're like, listen, Jennifer, just admit that you said this and apologize. But Jennifer refuses to apologize. She refuses to acknowledge that she said and made this racist statement. And I did agree with Muhammad. Jennifer thinks she's better than him, and I think that's the only reason she doesn't want to apologize. And that is very common of conservative racist white folk. I am sorry. They think they're better than you so much that they can never apologize to you, because it would just make their skin crawl to have to apologize to someone who they view themselves as being better than. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes, y'all. Welcome to America. Anywho, like the video if you haven't already. If you're still here, thank you for being here. Shout out to our replay gang who watches when we're no longer live. Let's get into our third couple, which is the couple on the center of our screen, the Lindsay and Elmer. This is a couple that she is known as an English woman because she was raised American, just in a regular lifestyle. And Elmer is Amish, and the Amish view just regular Americans as English. So they meet with a couple that's also similar to them, with a woman who grew up American and a man that came and grew up Amish. And they discuss the issues that Elmer's been having with porn, because Amish don't have access to electronics and things of that nature. So as soon as he broke free, he discovered when he got his cell phone, the internet comes with you everywhere, and you can look up porn. And he's had what seems to be some sort of porn addiction. So they talk with another couple discussing the issues they've been having, because she feels like he's watching too much porn. And this is where the other couple explained that they had similar issues. And the other man, who was Amish and did know Elmer when he was a part of the Amish, explains that technology is hard for a former Amish boy to adjust to. And Elmer explains that the first thing he did as soon as he got free from being Amish was watch porn. And he says that when he watched porn, he wanted more and more and more, and that he felt the adrenaline rush of watching, and amongst other things. So from what I heard, he needs to definitely get in touch with a therapist that specializes in porn and sex addiction. He should also find some Sex Addict Anonymous classes, because that is a lot to be watching. So Elmer is advised not to lie, and the wife of, the friend who they're talking to advised Lindsay that she needs to be patient, because this is all new for him. It's like sensory overload, which is true. But Lindsay feels like she has no time for it because they have a baby on the way, which changes their situation. Listen, I'm not trying to be petty. How is this man watching porn impacting his ability to be a father? I don't like what she's doing. I feel like because Lindsay is older than Elmer, she's like 35. It seems like she's like, oh, let me have a baby by the Amish boy because I know that he'll be there or whatever. I'm getting older. But girl, you done tried to leave him too many times. Realistically, watching porn does not affect him with this child. Watching porn does not make you a creeper or a pervert. Watching porn does not, if anything, but when the baby come, he probably not gonna have time, because y'all gonna be so tired waking up in the middle of the night trying to get the baby to sleep and eat and all these other things. So I just feel like she's definitely tripping a little bit, and she could give him a little more grace. That's just my opinion. But we find out she puts parental controls and porn blockers on everything in the house, which is also kind of like treating him like a child. You still want to let him be an adult. If I have to do all of that to get you to stop something, then I don't want to be with you anyway. You should be able to stop this on your own. But I personally don't feel like it's something that she should be so butthurt over. It seems like it just makes her feel insecure. But we then see them go for an ultrasound for the baby, which was a strange change of tune for this couple. And, I like to see the two in the doctor's office. It was nice. You could tell he was really excited to have a baby. But then I was like, okay, what are the Amish doing? He had no idea where babies come from. He would talk about how he would wake up from a wet dream and stuff at night, and his parents wouldn't explain to him what it was. They had no clue about sex. They just saw the animals on the farms doing it, the horses and the cows getting busy. And he really fixed himself to say to the camera, I guess that's what humans do too. If my husband ever looked at a cow or a horse get busy and then was like, I'm going to try this in the bedroom, Lord, help us, Jesus, help him. Fix it, Jesus, fix it. Anywho, we learned that they have not announced the pregnancy at all, which is normal because she's like barely 3 months. She's not even far along enough to find out what the gender of the baby is. And a lot of people don't announce it until then, because that's usually when you have a better inkling that the pregnancy will stick, a better shot of it lasting, those types of things. So the concern is that Elmer says his family may not accept the baby because when someone leaves the Amish, you disown them as well as the children they make. So it did seem like he really misses his family because he's had to give up his whole life. And he has Lindsay, but she threatened to leave every other day, and he's missing his family. He gave up a lot to be with her. And I don't believe in excommunication. I know Scientologists do that. We've seen Amish do that. And there are several other cultures and religions that believe in excommunication of those who leave or don't follow their values and views. It's sad, but it happens. But I'm always sad to see how people are affected and how alone that they feel. But they do have deep moments, and the things that they talked about in front of this ultrasound technician were just not appropriate. You could tell Elmer didn't understand, like, the doctor is the one who delivers the baby, OBGYN, but the people who take the pictures of your stomach and all of that, they're just ultrasound technicians. They just went to school for a year to 3 years, whatever the hell it may be. They are not doctors. That lady looks so uncomfortable hearing him talk about how he don't know nothing about sex. He couldn't have sex. He looked at animals. That lady looks so uncomfortable. But what I do like about Lindsay and how she does care about Elmer and her unborn child, it's important for her to help him get his family back. She doesn't want to be the reason he does not have his family. She wants his family to be a part of her child's life. And I think that's wonderful. Well, do I think it'll work? No. But I do think it's wonderful that that's what she wants and that's how she feels. I can't help but feel that way. It's nice. Moving on, you guys, the last couple we're going to discuss is Lori and Eli. This is our Jewish couple. Lori grew up Italian and Catholic. Eli is an Orthodox Jew. They're both recovering alcoholics. That's how they got together in an AA meeting, it sounds like. So they're celebrating their first Hanukkah together, which is a Jewish holiday that's celebrated near the time of Christmas. It involves a menorah, something about oil that lasted for 8 days. I am not Jewish, so I encourage everybody to look up Hanukkah. I am not the right person to explain it. Hell, I barely get through Christmas. But they're celebrating their first Hanukkah together as a couple. And Lori is struggling because she is missing Christmas with her family. Why can't she do both? Like, why can't she do both? She should be able to go to her family for Christmas while also being able to go to her dude for the Jewish religion. It's interesting how much religion forces these people to segregate or separate from others who don't follow their same beliefs. Religion has got to be like probably where a lot of like separation, racism, segregation, all those things come from, because it doesn't make any sense that the people cannot blend and do both, in my opinion. That's my personal opinion. But to those who take it serious, they take it serious. But if they really took their relationship serious, they would date somebody who was within their religion instead of going off and dating someone who's not. It's not fair to put someone in that situation. That's just how I feel. Anywho, Lori's mom calls and says she's sad about her daughter not coming home from Christmas. And Eli's mom, the bitch that she is, because that's what she is, says that her mom has to get over it. What if your son wasn't coming home for Hanukkah because he was with a woman who had him convert to something different? I understand her religion being important to her, but that mom has no respect or empathy for anybody but herself. His parents are rude, in my opinion. His parents are rude. His mom then says that moms in Jewish culture are so important and that she doesn't want her son Eli's time to be wasted because she says her son will be a good husband. Well, what about Lori? What if she's going to be a good wife? Just because she's Jewish means that she won't be a good wife? That girl don't need to wear a wig to love your son. She doesn't need to wear a wig in order to be faithful. She doesn't need to wear a wig in order to give him children. I don't like how his parents are thinking. I really don't. And I'm starting to look at Lori like, I hope that you don't convert. And he does attempt to like kind of check his mom. I do think that Eli loves her, but bro, you came and found her knowing that you're not supposed to date outside of your religion, and you pursued her. It is not fair for you now to expect her to convert. It's not. I don't feel it's fair. But that's all that happened, you guys, with this episode of Forbidden Love. We will be back again later this week when the next episode airs, which I believe comes on Sunday. So I will be back on Monday, hopefully, or Tuesday to recap it. But I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I appreciate everybody who watches our videos. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Peace, love, and good light to all of you, along with many blessings. Thug life, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching. Like the video, and I'll see you next time.